Today we're going to talk about how a little bit of research on your part can tell you if the real estate agent you're working with knows the market. So this comes up a lot. You know, the market overall across the country has been really hot for the last few years. And there's been lots of media exposure about houses going in a day. You have to do 50,000 over asking, blah, blah, blah. The market's so hot. Okay. That does not apply to every city in every state. Let me repeat that again. The market is not crazy hot in every city in every state. Okay? Now here's the problem that I've seen recently. So what I've seen recently is that real estate agents that, perhaps it's not their full-time job, and there are some where it's not their full-time job, but they're excellent, but there's some where like they've closed 3 transactions in the last 30 years, and maybe they saw an article about the market being really hot. So they're telling you to write over asking on a house, and you're like, but wait a second, this doesn't make sense, right? A little bit of research, you guys can tell if your market's hot. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how I determine it. And if there's any real estate agents watching this, if you think there's something I missed, please chime in. As you guys know, I never want to attack good real estate agents, ever. A good real estate agent is worth their weight in gold. And, for instance, I do, what did we do? 600 and we did like 650 loans last year, like transactions, and like most of those were purchases. So I know a lot, right? But at the same point, if I was selling my house, I would always use a real estate agent. If I'm buying a house, I will always use a real estate agent. Even with the information I have, but based on the transactions I do, a good real estate agent is worth their weight in gold. So that's my disclaimer. So we're talking about agents where they're not really taking their job seriously. So here's what I do. So I had a client recently, and she was in a part of the country where she's like, my agent told me I got to write this offer today, and I need to write $10,000 over. And I'm like, okay, let's look up the house together. And we looked up the house, and I always go to Zillow. Zillow is my drug of choice for real estate addiction. And the reason is that Zillow has the price history. It also has how many days on the market it's been, which is very, 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 one more very important, okay? So I pull up the house, and I'm like, it's been on the market for 90 days, and there's been no price drops. What in the world? Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you need to offer above asking price on a house that's been for sale for 3 months that no one's bought? Okay, here's the thing. If a house is priced correctly, it goes fast. There's no hot markets where houses stay on the market for 90 days. That is not the definition of a hot market. A definition of a hot market, within the last few months, Phoenix is a great example. You'll go to Zillow, you'll see houses listed for a day. They have tons of new houses coming on, but they are gone. In most cases, they are gone like that. And if they're sitting around, it's because they're priced wrong. They're priced too high. That is when you see a house sit on the market. So if you have an agent telling you that you need to write an offer with no contingencies, you need to write above asking, and the house has been sitting, that's a red flag. Okay, that's a huge red flag. Like, personally, and it depends on the market, I would say, in the country overall, if the house has been on the market for over 30 days with no offers, it's not priced right, okay? If it's a seasonal market, okay. Now, here's the thing. Does the seller have to price the house right? No. If the seller wants to wait until someone gives them their price, they can totally do that. But the key to this is that what we'll see sometimes is we'll see a realtor who read a headline, right, about a market being really hot, and they're hearing in their realtor groups from other parts of the country that it's really hot, but that's not reflective of their area. And, beyond it being perhaps just ignorance of the market, it also sometimes what they're doing is they're playing into your FOMO. And this is the part I don't like. And I don't know if I'm sure there's some people intentionally doing this, but what happens is they know as a buyer, you're watching the news. The news is designed to scare you. It is. It is. That is how they get paid. Clickbait. So you guys need to know that. Like, I would say don't even look at CNN or any of that stuff about the housing market, because they're going to be taking generalizations from areas like San Francisco and New York, and those are not representations of the country as a whole. Okay? Bay Area, Ohio, different. Okay? Ohio's great. We've been talking to so many Ohioans. Anyways, you guys are lovely, so thank you for calling. It's different though. It's a different market, and that's the thing. So you guys need to know that. But what will happen is if you have a realtor who's trying to make a quick sale, they're going to play into that FOMO to pressure you into something you don't want. Okay? And that's the other thing you want to be watching out for. My biggest advice is always do not buy a house you do not like. It seems super simple, right? Don't buy a house you don't like. Well, what we'll see real estate agents saying, well, if you don't get this one, you're never going to get one. What? I mean, really? It's like, really? I mean, there's certain markets where, like, at a certain price point, there's very limited inventory, and that's consistent. And if they can give you data to support that, great. But if you're in a market that's not super hot, where there's some stuff on the market for a little bit, you know, why? Right? But they know that you're already freaked out because of the news. So it makes the sale a lot easier. They need to get rid of a dead house? Cool. You know, great. Oh, you better buy it quick. Someone else is looking. They're just playing into the FOMO the media is creating. So what you guys can do is you can go onto Zillow real quick. You can look at the area you're looking at, look at the average time the houses are on the market, look at how quick stuff is going, watch it. Okay, if you look at the market, and you know, I pulled up one the other day and I was like, oh gosh, what's going on there? Like, you know, 30 days, 60 days, 80 days. You know, she's like, well, my real estate said the market's really hot. I'm like, there's like 200 houses for sale that have just been sitting there. You know, it's not a hot market if stuff that's priced well goes quick. That's just, you know, basics. Like, if a house is priced well, regardless of the market, it's going to go quick if there's a demand. And right now there's demand everywhere. But you just want to be careful you don't fall into that trap of like, this is a hot market, when in fact it's not. Because what I see more often than not, especially right now, is that people are listening to the media headlines and thinking it applies to the entire country, and it really is town by town how hot the market is. So I hope this has been helpful. Questions, comments, as always, reach out if you guys want to get on my calendar to get pre-approved. We do fully underwritten pre-approvals, which are like a golden ticket. Just hop on my calendar. There's a link in the comments and everywhere on this channel. Thanks for watching, guys.